Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nice to have all of you over here. How many of you are here for the first time in the room? Nice. Quite a few. Ah. First time today, huh? All right.
Maybe every time it looks like
It feels like the first time. Yeah, happier.
you want to discover what the subject, what they were talking about.
Super. Before we get into the program, what we do is we get to know the people in the room, and how we do that is by answering two questions. The first question is, what is your name? Which should be an easy one. And the second one is a question of the week. So every week we come up with a new question, and you try to answer that. And through that answer, we get to know the people in the room. And the question of the week, I just make it up when I'm sitting here. All right? So,
I thought the same on Facebook.
yeah.
I was studying Facebook. It doesn't work.
So the question of the week today is,
Cooking.
I mean, come on, at least
if you
prepare before the
no, I have something. The question is this.
By the way, he usually prepares the question, looks at our faces and decides to change it. He always does that.
So the question is this. Imagine you could meet yourself 1 year before from today, and you have learned in the last 1 year so many things, right? What would you tell yourself? About whatever you have learned. It's just sharing what you have learned in the last 1 year.
You're not my style anymore.
Huh?
Don't be stupid.
Okay, you want to look at 1 year ahead?
No, but that's my
Okay, I'd like to
that's
start.
my
My name is Sami,
Hi, Sammy.
and if I was to get a chance to meet myself in a year time from now, I would just tell myself
You're going to the future or to the past?
it wasn't worth it to have all that pressure. If I would see myself after 1 year, right? I would tell myself,
No, you're talking about the.
now my voice will reach nowhere.
go back 1 year.
You're Sammy from 1 year before.
1 year before.
Yeah. What did you learn in the last 1 year?
learn about
No, but your question is very specific. What would you tell yourself a year before, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start all over again, then what would you say?
2017 is in front of you. Tell
Ah,
us.
Sami 2017.
Yes.
You should have quit your job 2 years before that.
Tell us why.
Because I realized that I was afraid of that jump, giving a lot of valid excuses, very valid excuses. But I realized that it wasn't excuses more than it was the prestige that I was enjoying. I mean, you drive the best, latest Mercedes-Benz models every now and then. You have been appraised for what you do, but you could do more. So, what kicks me up to tell me kick this job away was the DTAC championship in 2016, which I realized that I should have quit my job long time before.
How did that make you realize?
Sorry?
How did DTAC winning make you realize that?
Because that pressure gets you the best out of me, and I never knew what I could give. Haven't I been tested into that on that stage? I knew what I can give, but I had a lot of, when I am personally successful in what I do, famous between the clients and the suppliers and the vendors and the principals, they appreciate what I do, they like it, I feel like a hero. So my mistakes are forgiven, my achievements are brightened, so I'm the star of the show at every project and in multiple projects. So realize that this I can give away because I'm doing so much good with my public speaking journeys and with my friends, with Toastmasters, with different training programs. Especially I felt that moment when we organized DTAC 2012 in Dubai. And I could see the potential, but I said, not yet. Give it few more years. And it was like another 5 years. So I could have quit my job in 2012 and do wonders, but I postponed it for 5 whole years. It was for a purpose. But looking backward, I think it wasn't necessary. So that was what mic falls down like this.
Wait.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Question, just a quick one. Now you said what actually kept you in
You
the job.
don't get to ask questions at this stage. I know the rules. I've been doing it for 2 years. I know my rights.
No, that's nothing.
My lawyer is saying.
You explained what you lost by leaving the Mercedes, etc., etc.
We have another session which is coming up in Awesome Insights.
Yeah.
We'll get it there.
Hold that.
Hold that question.
Of which I will be leaving for an emergency.
Yes, Santosh.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Santosh.
Hi, Santosh.
If I have to advise myself 1 year before, would like to advise myself start meditation at that given point of time. In this last 6 months, when I started practice meditation, I feel a lot of disaster changes in my behavior pattern. So earlier I was angry all the time. I don't know why. But after performing my meditation every day, now I can realize when I'm going emotional, whether angry or attachment or love. So I can manage I can watch my emotions carefully and not overreacted every time. That's what is my advice. Who is next?
Wow.
Hi everybody, my
Hi.
name is Pradeep.
Hi, Pradeep.
Hello.
Mhm.
Very recently I started learning more about blockchain, virtual currency, etc. So I think this is the future, blockchain especially. I think if I see myself last year, I would have said that why not that time, why it is so late. So I think this future technology, I would have invested some time in that last year itself.
Much earlier, okay.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anfal.
Hi, Anfal.
A year ago from now, I would tell myself that you're absolutely right in your decisions, in your prayers, in your optimism. Something amazing is going to happen to you, which is true. Just don't stress out so much.
Hello, my name is Nada.
Hi, Nada.
1 year, I've been in Dubai 1 year, exactly 1 year and 1 month now. I told myself, when I came, I wasn't really sure what I can do in Dubai. But after that time, for a whole year, I think I did all the things I like to do. But I feel now I need to choose which will give me more interest, more time for myself. I want to make friends. I have no friends. I don't. I just point that I need to have friends to enjoy time. It's not only working. I'm so happy I changed a lot of some people's life for positive thinking, and I give a lot of advice. But now it's for me just to choose not to do everything, just to improve to myself. I did it. No, I want to have to be like normal people, do things, just leave things, and not to be the first all the time.
Yes, Gaurav.
Ladies first.
How gentle you are.
Don't worry about it. So, my name is Iman.
Hi, man.
Hi, man.
So, I think it's the same advice I would give myself a year back or a year ahead or now actually. It's okay to pause and try to relax and have time for yourself. And it's not about just, working hard, exactly what Nada was trying to say. Okay, fine, you achieve your purpose, you're so happy and giving. Don't forget yourself. Give time for yourself. That's it.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Gaurav.
Hi, Gaurav.
Hi. What I would tell to Gaurav in 2017 November is savor life, meaning take things slowly and don't rush into things. also watch your money, because the money that I had last year is gone. I had operated slower than I did. So that's it.
Yeah.
What did you do with the money?
It just vanished. I just saw it fly away.
And you're laughing?
Excuse me, I didn't do anything to it, someone else did.
Yes.
Someone else did. Now we are curious. You know about his bucket, yeah?
Hey, that's Samir's position.
No, 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 no.
Hello.
Hi. No.
It's not supposed to.
No, it's for the recording,
This is for the people in Sheikh Zayed.
not to amplify.
Yeah.
I'm Ravi.
Hi, Ravi.
Hi, Ravi.
If I go back 1 year and say something to myself, it would be, Ravi, at least this year, take some action on your plans. Otherwise, it's not going to work. There are people who have mentioned here that I want to go slow. I don't want to rush. But at least I want to take some pressure, and I don't want to sit relaxed anymore. I want to work on something so that something will happen. So that's all.
So for those of you who are here in the room for the first time, just to introduce the concept of awesome walkers and how it started off, and some of the things that you touched upon is very interesting, that just take that first step and just keep moving forward, right? And before I say anything about how I started off, look at the photo frames in the room. It's empty. It has no picture in it, and that is for a reason. And the reason is, it's a reminder to each and every one, telling you that if you want to do something, go ahead and start. When I put this room together for the first time and had all the bean bags and everything set in place, I asked myself, what can I do with this place, and what should I do? And I thought I should finish everything before I started something. And then I said, no, let me just gather a few people into the room and let me just talk to them. So I got about 10-15 people and told them, who is the most interesting person that you would like to have a conversation with, bring them along. So we have around 25 people in the room, and let's have a conversation. And everyone was like, what are we going to talk about? And I said, I have no clue, but just come along. And when I got this question from everyone, I realized there has to be some kind of a format, some kind of a homework, right? So what I did is, from the pool of people that was there, what I did is I identified 2 people and said, you're going to be my featured guest and we are going to have a conversation. They said, what are you going to talk about? I said, just come along, just come, sit, and we'll have a conversation. And we had that one. And I was asking myself, should I fill up the photo frames? And I said, no, let's just start. And today I keep it as a reminder. So after the first session was over, everybody loved it. The format continues till this date the same. The style is the same, where the featured guests are not prepped. There is no discussion happening beforehand what you're going to talk about. And the reason for this is because when you don't know what you're going to talk about, then when the questions come, you're going to speak from your heart. And when you speak from your heart, you will connect to other hearts. And the whole idea behind this, as I went along, I realized, is because we can all learn from other people's lives and journeys. There's so much to learn from them, whether they are successful or failures. There's so many things that everybody goes through in their journeys. And if you look at any successful person, they have gone through multiple failures. And from those, there's so much that we can learn. But nobody will come up on stage and stand and say, I failed this, because it would look like either they are boasting or they are just trying to. But when it's a heartfelt conversation, what happens is you just open up, you just share. And when your intent is for other people to be inspired and to learn from it, or to take away something, even one thing, then what happens is you create the opportunity for your lessons to be transferred. As an audience, I always say, when you sit over there, focus not on the messenger, but the message. Focus on the message and see what is that you can apply the principles of ACT. And what is the principles of ACT? A stands for what is it that you can take and apply in your lives. C is change. See what it is that you can take from the message and change about the way you are doing things. And T is see what it is you can teach someone, because when you start teaching someone, your knowledge starts getting even better. It's like sharpening the axe. So, the more you teach, the more you share, the more what happens is your own thought process starts getting stronger. How much of the knowledge that you have, you consciously go out and teach other people. And if you don't apply the principles of ACT, like I always say, you could be standing on Sheikh Zayed Road and listening to the noise of car, and it wouldn't be any different. If you don't apply the principles of ACT after you listen to any talk, not just this one, if you don't reflect upon it, then what happens is it's just noise in your life. So, as I started this journey, after the first 2-3 sessions, what happened was I was posting photographs of me wearing socks, sometimes no socks, and people asked me, why are you not wearing anything? So, there is a friend of mine who was in Qatar who said, why don't you wear different colored socks? And I said, okay, I will wear different colored socks, and then it got a meaning of its own today. The reason why I wear different colored socks is because it is a symbolic representation of awesome walkers. A symbolic representation because it is telling everyone you can be unique and you can be different. You don't have to be like everyone, and that is okay. When you start trying to conform to everyone and everything and the society around you constantly, what happens is you hold yourself back in so many ways. The moment you embrace yourself, and say, you know, this is what I love to do. Today I call myself a conversationalist. And how did that happen? As I was doing this series, I didn't realize I loved conversation so much. There was a guest over here who came and she was talking about how she loved talking, and she knew she just need to find a job around talking. And then she went to the radio stations and then she got a job. She is an RJ over there now. And I realized my deep love for conversations. And the fact is, my name itself comes from an Arabic root word, Samir, where Samir is a person who has interesting conversations under the moonlight. So, I was born to do this. I was born to have conversations, you know. We all have some muscle with us that we are constantly exercising. If we realize what that is, that can become our passion, that can become our work, that can become our life, that can become everything for us. If we realize there is some part of our everyday lives that we are actually unconsciously exercising. I didn't realize all along my life that this was a career option. But the moment I realized it, the moment I embraced it, I realized I was practicing this for a long time, very long time. I mean, having conversations. I used to have conversations with people through the night. I have had conversations where we never slept till 7, 8 a.m. and not just any conversations. We would have intelligent, meaningful, interesting conversations. So, look back into your life and see, what is that muscle that you are exercising? What is that muscle that you love so much to exercise every day? And if you identify that one, your life could completely change. You can just embrace that part of you and say, you know, yes, this is something that I am exercising and I am getting stronger and stronger every day. Now, how do I use this to fulfill a need in the market? Is there a gap that I can serve with this muscle that I have? That becomes your strength. So, that is Awesome Walkers, and it has been going on for over a year now, and we have tonight our 112th guest from 1 year. And what we have been doing every week for the last 1 year was we used to have 2 featured guests, 1 male and 1 female. That was a pattern that I had set right from the beginning. And a couple of weeks ago, I decided to start a new format which I started calling Awesome Insights. Awesome Insights is a session where you drop in a question into a box. The box is there. You drop your questions into this, and after this session is over, after the Awesome Walkers session is over, we have a 10-minute break for tea, and then we regroup for that session. And in that session what happens is we just have conversations around those questions. It's not like I'm saying I have the answers, it's like let us discover our answers. So we'll come to that. But there is a possibility that Awesome Insights will move out from this venue, and we are looking at a different venue for Awesome Insights alone, and Awesome Walkers might go back to having 2 featured guests. Still in the talks, we'll update later. In the meanwhile, do you have any questions about Awesome Walkers?
Where are you planning to move?
I said about Awesome Walkers.
Huh?
Huh?
I'm thinking about the insights.
How do you feel about Awesome Walkers today?
How do you feel about Awesome Walkers today? So I'm the only person in this room who's attended all the Awesome Walkers.
Actually,
You know?
because of you, we missed you.
When I started this, there were people who told me that you should not do this every week because we cannot come. I realized I was doing this for myself, and I was doing this because I wanted to be surrounded by amazing people and learn from their journeys. Today, without realizing, when I go and have conversations, when I go and do presentations, when I go and do my workshops, the amount of content that I have right now because of all the conversations that I have had, it amazes me sometimes, because it wasn't even planned, because we are learning from real life experiences and book instead of books and everything, right? So I feel so grateful that this has grown like this, and it has grown only because there was always an audience, and that was never in my control. So I thank you so much for coming here, being part of this, encouraging and moving on with this journey. It didn't matter for me when the crowd was 5 or 10 or 50, because I was always focused on the conversations, and I'm really grateful to answer your question.
If you go back 2 years, what would you tell Samir to change out Awesome Walkers?
1 year,
About Awesome Walkers?
1 year.
See, right from the beginning till now, I've kept the same format. So
Would you repeat in the same exact way?
would I repeat it? I would. There's nothing I would want to change. Moving forward, if there is growth, if there is a possibility of this becoming bigger and whatever it is, in whatever sense, I'll embrace that. But going back, there's nothing I would change. Not the venue, not the people, not the audience, nothing. There are times where there are certain guests who never opened up, but we learn from them as well. We learn from everyone, right? We learn from everyone, we learn from everything. So it's just a matter of how we look at things. So what I'll encourage you to do is, if you want to ask something.
After you complete all this,
No, go ahead.
do you see us looking at a crystal ball, 3 years' time? Do you see Awesome Walkers, Doha, Delhi, Detroit, or
We have
whatever?
only one Samir now.
Meaning you are here in Dubai, but do you see you kind of talking to people who get so inspired that in their own cities they start Awesome Walkers?
So a lot of people have already approached me for this. They want to take the franchise and they wanted to start Awesome Walkers in their countries. I was just not ready for that. It will happen eventually, I'm sure, because whether they call it Awesome Walkers or they call it anything else, conversations are an integral part of society. And if we have a format, if there is a way that it can be orchestrated, I would love to call it the TED for conversations. That is the whole intent, to make it into a global platform. Whether it is through me or through anybody, it doesn't matter, to achieve the objective that communities come together and have conversations in a meaningful manner, so that everybody gets inspired and moved. Thank you. So, we have this little exercise where before we start, we warm up our hands. It's cold, right? It's getting cold this Dubai. We take them apart and put them together for Seema Shetty.
Samir.
Hello. What do you want to sit on?
No, this is
We
good.
can sit on anything you want. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you here.
You too. Thank you.
Colorful hair.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, you told me to wear the colorful socks, but I
You colour
have
the
my
hair?
hair that's colorful, so that should suffice.
How do you choose that color?
A purple? Okay. So actually, it was pink first.
Okay.
And has anyone ever colored their hair any other color? So you know that you need to keep coloring every month.
Yeah.
I did red.
You did red, yeah. So a colored hair
You cannot
washes
stop it?
off
Okay.
very quickly. If I knew that then, I probably wouldn't
One
have
year
colored my hair because it costs a lot to get my hair colored like this. So it was pink, and I wanted red first. She didn't have red, so then we made it pink. And then I got sick of the pink very soon, and I made it blue, green, and purple. And then
That
I
is in
thought
one
I-
time? Blue,
One
green?
time I had a mermaid hair color.
Okay.
And yeah, I was my biggest fans were my kids, my two girls, and then after that I thought I'll just go one color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not black?
I did black. You know what happened? I've actually never colored my hair, only twice in my life before. I'm 36 years old and I only color my hair twice. For women, that's pretty good, huh?
Okay.
Because women color their hair a lot. And why it happened was because when I was young, a teenager, I used to have really thick, black, your typical Indian beautiful hair. And once I colored it without my mom knowing, because you know you can get it from a supermarket, L'Oreal, I colored it and I damaged my hair. It got thin, it would fall. So that was the last time. Second time I colored my hair was actually I wanted it purple. I should have. I wanted purple hair. I don't know why. I should find out what purple means. And I did that. And then why I did this recently is because I just had a baby. And my hair used to be straight and beautiful, and now my hair has baby curls, and it falls all over the place when I'm sitting down and talking to somebody. And every time I walk through the toilet, I look good because that mirror makes me look slim. But my hair, you know, it doesn't lie about my hair. So my hair was the only thing that irritated me. And after I dyed my hair and I made it pink, I'd walk past going, wow, it's so beautiful. And that's why I did it. Yeah, I was just sick of my hair and I wanted to change. Yeah, I met somebody who does color therapy. Have you met anybody who
Yes,
studies
there was
color
one lady who
therapy?
came here and who did color therapy.
Do you know what she says about the colors?
What? Yeah.
I have no idea, but she looked at me, she goes, purple, is everything okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I don't know what, just yesterday I think I met her, it was at a Diwali event.
What's
So
her
I
name?
don't know, I have to find out what purple was.
We had a lady called Katrina Valente who came and she had the whole chart and then she was doing
Yeah.
color therapy.
So she's an Emirati woman.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the Nues family from Rotana, his
Okay.
daughter.
Okay.
And Shama, she started a spa called Anahata in Abu Dhabi, and it's an Ayurvedic spa. So she's fascinated by India and alternate therapies, and so she herself studied color therapy.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's very interesting. I'll give you her details. Honestly, what you want her to do is just meet everybody individually and make them pick colors and give advice. She's very good.
Tell us about Seema.
About Seema, what do you want to know about Seema?
Tell us from the beginning, whatever you want to say.
From the beginning, okay. So, Seema was born and raised in Abu Dhabi, and I've lived in Abu Dhabi my whole life until I graduated and went to Boston. I went to BU, and I could only go to Boston because I was very naughty in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
I used to sneak out of the house and do things which I would hope my children never ever do.
Things like?
And you know, some things you really shouldn't say, but I mean, people in Abu Dhabi knew, like at the age of 15, 16, I used to, go clubbing and very, very naughty friends at that time. And it's true, you really should be careful of the friends you have. So the friend I had at that time, when September 11 happened and I was in Boston, I lost touch with her. But she got in touch with me. She hunted me down through Facebook, and we didn't have Facebook in high school. So she hunted me down through Facebook, and she said, listen, I hope you get this message. I know you're in Boston, because she found out from other people. I'm sorry that we lost touch, but you are like a sister to me. And if I'm in Portugal, if you need any way to get back home, I'm here for you. And we couldn't leave Boston. The flights were shut. So we were stuck in Boston. You know, no flight was leaving US to come to Abu Dhabi. So that was an amazing feeling. So yeah, she was naughty, but I think we had an incredible time together. And part of why I like Abu Dhabi is sometimes you need to do naughty things to like a place. You know, you have very good memories there. So when I went to university, I knew I always wanted to come back to Abu Dhabi. So while in Abu Dhabi and while being a teenager, I used to do internships. So even when I went to university, everything I studied, I used to think back about how I could apply it to this company, you know, different areas that I had done an internship in. So I'd see how I could bring that practice back. Or naturally, I'd start creating things from whatever I learned, and it was relevant to the companies that were based in Abu Dhabi.
So you had a very entrepreneurial spirit from a very young age?
You know, at the age of maybe 13, 14, I used to carry, somebody gifted me a handmade book, and it had like jute and flowers in the front, and inside it was just paper. I kept that, and I still have that book. I should have got it to show you. But in that, I used to write concepts for restaurants. I always loved eating. So I'd have a menu, like different fusion cuisines that I'd come up with. I'd name the restaurant. So one restaurant I envisioned was a bubble restaurant, where you have bubbles, you know bubbles? The blowing, the bubbles you blow. So bubbles just over against the wall in the back, so it's just over you and around you.
Soap bubbles? Not soap bubbles.
Soap bubbles.
Okay.
Listen, I'm 13.
Okay.
So what's realistic and what's not realistic, I have no idea. But so I had that as a theme. These are some of the themes I remember. And from there, I had menus that were linked to things that were shaped round. So everything that encompassed a bubble was put in. And the clothes of what people wore as well was all black. And it had like a bubble logo. And the seating also, I had a restaurant which was based out of mushrooms because I loved mushrooms. So yeah, I had like this little booklet of F&B.
And did you share it with your dad and tell him about these concepts?
Oh yes, because I carried that book everywhere with me.
Okay.
So we used to go to different restaurants, and wherever we went, I'd pull up the book, and something I'd like would be part of any of the 10, 20 concepts that I already wrote down. You know, if I found something that was nice, I'd be like, oh, we'll put it in this concept, and okay, let's go to this concept, and we can fit it in here too. So everybody knew about that book, which is why when I moved back in 2003, when I moved back, I worked with UExchange. And that's I don't know why I was put into finance. It's like killing my personality to put me into finance. And while I was working with UExchange, Express Money to be in particular, at that time we got the opportunity to open up an Indian restaurant at the Royal Meridian. So in 2003, there was only one 5-star Indian restaurant in the whole of UAE, and that was Nina's in Dubai. Is it the one and only?
How does a restaurant become 5-star?
In Abu Dhabi, we were going to be the first of its kind as well. Yeah. And where did I say this?
Royal Meridian.
Royal Meridian.
So they approached you.
Correct. Oh yeah, correct. So why I said this is because they wanted an Indian concept, and so my father's associated with India. So the first thing they did, he represents India in the community, and so they said, this is something which we'd like. And I just moved back at that time, and something incredible about him is that he said, look, I know you like this, and I will support you. It's your first project. If you can negotiate a good rental and show me you can make it a good success, then I'll support you. I said, okay, done. I'll do it. And so while I was working UExchange Express Money, I was also working on making this project a something that could be sustainable. I had to negotiate the rental agreement with this Italian general manager who is a chauvinistic pig. Yeah, he was very rude. Zari, for me, the restaurant was called Zari Zardozi. It was my first project, and that was the best experience of my life. Whatever could go wrong went wrong.
Okay.
I had somebody, and you know, you need that.
Yeah.
Because that gave me strength for all the other problems that came in afterwards. Everything was easy because of Zari. From the beginning. The location of the place, I don't know if anybody's been to Zari, but the location was at the back, you know, entry was difficult. The hotel didn't support us. We were an award-winning restaurant. They closed the entry from the hotel to us. So we had a lot of different challenges to get people to come to us. So if they walked in from the hotel, before the time they reached us, the hotel was given instructions to take that individual to another restaurant. So they don't end up making it to Zari. And it was quite a long walk.
Why would they do that?
Because we were an outsourced restaurant. And
But
that
it is in
concept
their
was also new.
But it is in their interest that you succeed.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it was a cultural change, right? Hotels were not used to outsourcing restaurants. Today, it's very normal. I'm talking about 2003. At that time, hotels managed every single thing. So it was a very different culture also for them to have a restaurant managed by somebody else. When we first, and I say this as my pride, when we first opened our doors, within 1 year, I think Watson moved to Abu Dhabi a year before, they gave us the best newcomer award. And we weren't invited to that event because the hotel didn't inform us we were shortlisted. You know, so, and that's why I'm so proud of it, because there's so many things which we were recognized for and things which people wanted as their own. And, you know, when we found out we won the award, we got a call from the general manager saying, just to let you know, we went for an award ceremony and you won an award and we think you should have the award. So
You should.
I was shocked. I said, wonderful. Now my whole team was less than the age of 29. I had the oldest person in my team was, which I thought was old because I was 22 at that time, right?
Wow.
I was 22, so for me, 29-year-old was very old, and my chef was 29.
Your
So
entire restaurant were run by people who were.
all of us were young. Well, obviously, look at how old I am. So my standard for old is very different, right? My learnings, everything is different. So yeah, so when they all came,
And it was your decision. Your dad didn't interfere in any of those things.
nothing. The only thing he wanted to know was when we signed that rental agreement, how does the rental agreement look like? Everything else he left totally up to me. I don't know how. I just don't know how. I went for recruitment to Romania by myself with my sister. Did that totally. I've never recruited people before. I've never conducted interviews. My interviews were so entertaining. It was much like you. I have no idea what I'm going to ask them. I'm just having a conversation with somebody. If I like them, hired. You know, if they're nice, if they understand me, if I feel
But
we
that's
get
enough,
along with
right?
each other. Yeah,
But that's
all
enough,
you
right?
need.
Yeah.
And till today, that's exactly how I hire people. I don't have a script. I don't have a list of questions. And everything is just on their personality. I leave skills up to somebody else to look at, but for me, I just look at the personality of a person. So yeah, looking back, I really wonder how he did that. Yeah.
Would you
it's a
change?
So you know, I think that's part of why you asked me the question. Why didn't you, when I gave my company to back to the father company last year, why didn't you sell it to him? How could I sell it? If he can entrust so much on me, what right do I have to sell it to him? You know, so I guess that's where it comes from.
But you got experience, so to say, through the whole
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. Yeah, I got.
You are who you are because you went through that.
You're not involved with the project anymore.
With Zari, so we closed Zari. I had an arranged marriage with another Shetty boy, Nirman, and that was also much like setting up a business. I had selected him, I had interviewed him. He also interviewed me. He was the first guy who came as a proposal that said, if your daughter wants my CV, then I want her CV to my father. I'm like, oh my god, I love this guy already. so that's how we got.
So you asked for a
together.
CV actually.
Yeah, because you know you're gonna have an arranged marriage, and all my friends were guys before. In fact, I had very few girlfriends. I'm not sure why, but most of my friends were guys. So I knew what I liked about them, what I didn't like. I had a lot of exposure. I even had crushes on a lot of people. So what I did was, because I knew I had to have an arranged marriage.
Did you have a book for all the boys? Like this
I had a
personality I
list.
want in my husband. This.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
I had a list, very clear-cut list of what I wanted from a husband. And with before I met my husband, I met 9 other men before him.
Okay.
And every time I met them, I knew what I didn't want with somebody. You know? So I had a big list of what I didn't want, and a one-pager on what I wanted. And I went back and thought about all the guys I loved before, from the young age. One was a guy who was very nice to his grandparents, till, you know, unfortunately he passed away. But every time I see him, I'm just...
Oh, the grandparent or he, the boy?
He passed away. But he would stand up, any adult, it need not be his grandfather, grandmother, but he'd stand up, go and help them walk, you know. There were certain sensitivities I liked about that. There was a person who was very nice to girls, so he was just friendly and polite, and I found that attractive, so that was on my list. I'm weak in finance, so on my list was a guy who was strong in finance. So either a chartered accountant, I was particular, had to be a chartered accountant, or had to be an engineer with an MBA in finance.
This is when I got disqualified.
Engineer with an MBA in finance. Yeah.
No, you got. So did it have to be an Indian?
It had to be a Shetty person. Yeah.
Okay.
It had to
Disqualified
be,
again.
Yeah. It had to. You could have been one of my crushes. Yeah. No, it had to be a Shetty because, you know, my parents. I told you I was very naughty when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So they
You said naughty.
Yeah, I was very naughty.
Naughty Shetty.
Naughty Shetty. Yeah. And they let everything go, and all they said is, look, we just want you to be good enough so we can get you married. Very decent Shetty boy. That's our only requirement, you know, that they were very particular on that. At least when I was small, my message was, they really want me to marry a Shetty boy. So it's in my head, you know, to fulfill their wish that I marry a Shetty boy. And I'm very happy because the person I have today and the journey we went through together is incredible. He's an introvert. So a little bit opposite of me. You know, you said some people who don't open up. My problem is I open up too much. In aeroplanes, I sat next to it. Anyone German? No. Okay, good. I sat next to a German man. And this is when I realized how Germans were. You know, I sat next to him, and again, I'm going through this whole stage of trying to find a man for myself. And I was opening up to him, and he said, I am very uncomfortable with this conversation. Why? I'm not hitting you. I want to talk to you. Why are you uncomfortable? So that's where I come from. And Nirman also is an introvert. And so it took me doing an MBTI for him and me to understand him.
Oh.
And for me to understand where I stand, with him understanding me. So he has no idea I did the MBTI for him. I just answered the questions for him, I answered questions for me, and that's how I understood how he was as a person. Yeah, Nirman.
I think everybody should do it, right?
Oh, everybody should do it, yeah, absolutely. So in our team, I look after the learning and development in NMC. Our whole team has done it. We encourage everybody else to do it. So there's a course which we give on the MBTI, and we put supervisors and their teams through it as well. So yeah, I agree with you, it should be done.
So you moved from Zari to corporate excellence after that, to learning and development. How did that happen?
No, I moved from Zari to...
Zari was full time for you, right?
Zari was
you left Express Money.
Yeah.
You left Express Money and then you got full time into this.
I left Express Money within one year. Once I set up Zari, then I was full time Zari. Then in 2004...
It didn't scare you? I mean, the oldest being 29-year-old in terms of running a place which is a 5-star.
You're only scared if you know. if you don't know,
Yeah.
you're
You
not
don't know what to
scared.
be scared of, right?
Yeah, you don't know what to be scared of.
Yeah.
I think today,
That is a handicap most people have.
right,
They have too much knowledge,
that's
information.
the handicap of experience.
Yeah.
You know, it's, which is why I can't understand how my
Yeah.
father allowed me to do all that.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that for my children. It takes a lot
Hmm.
to do that. I'm not sure I would do
It's a mindset, I think, no? Even if you have the experience, you wouldn't do it? Tell your child, just go.
Knowing what I know today,
Yeah?
I think I would have to really program myself to have the courage to do that.
But
with
it made
my
you
child.
stronger.
It did make me stronger.
So why wouldn't you want your child to be stronger?
Because a lot could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
A lot could have gone wrong.
It didn't.
And- Yeah, I know.
Did you do the same for your sisters as well? I mean,
No, me and my dad have a very special relationship. Yeah, no, I'm definitely his favorite. I don't think they're also very different from me. So I get into the details of everything. Yeah, we're different people. I think my sister today is probably more entrepreneurial, but back then they didn't have an interest in being an entrepreneur, or they didn't have an interest in starting their own business and getting to the details of setting it up.
So I think it's too early for you to judge about your children, because if you see one of them is
Yeah, I guess
special,
it
you would
depends on
just-
the capability. Very
right?
good point. Yeah. I guess you're
your
right.
father saw
It
himself in you
depends.
kind of
Yeah.
when he was.
I hope so. That's an amazing compliment. So, yeah, but I think your point is very true. They're too young for me to feel confident enough to.
To know what
Yeah.
kind of people they are.
Yeah.
But looking at that point, when you said, had you known some of your discomforts or something like that, you wouldn't have been confident in moving ahead. Just because, I mean, you were confident because you didn't know your weaknesses. I mean, isn't that a good mindset?
Yeah. I
mean,
was.
Yeah.
If you think you are, back of your mind, you think, oh, I might have faced these problems, then the negativity comes on
Yeah.
you. Probably you might face challenges. But when you don't know some of the things. I mean, there might be a risk in that, but the positive concepts take over you.
Yeah.
I'm just reminded of something that one of my professors said in college. It's one of the only few things that I remember from college. He said,
You are not
"Hey,
too.
it's more difficult to unlearn something than to learn something."
Yeah, it's true. Even till today, like I'm involved with IBPG and a lot of different profiles of people. I'm quite surprised at how people are. When you finish college, you believe that people have good intentions, and you believe everybody will work together to help each other. That's what you come out with. I think when you come out of college, you come out with that belief that you can do anything because everybody's there to help you. And when you come across situations where almost the world works to put roadblocks in front of you, that's a demotivating factor. And maybe with my children, I'm probably protective over that. Even in my recent experiences of the profiles that I'm dealing with, I'm shocked at how some of these people who I've grown up and raised with think. Because I used to call them uncles. Your kids are probably meeting everybody else here, and they'll say uncle, auntie, and that's how we were brought up. And it's your very own uncles and aunties that are putting these constraints on you. And it's just, I think it's a shocker. So that's part of what I think we have to.
Sad part of.
Yeah. How do you be? Do you let it go? Just let it go, or are you supposed to learn from that and be aware and know that some people are going to be there, and who are those people? Because once you're conscious about who those people are and how they're going to be, you're planning for negativity. You're planning for a path, against that negativity, right? So you're already putting it into your plan. You're not going in understanding that everything's going to work towards you. You're actually going in knowing that these are my roadblocks. I just have to know how to go around it.
Yeah.
So during interview, how are you going to find these kind of people? when you conduct interview for any employee for your organization or something, then how are you going to identify those people?
Negativities.
Oh, the ones who are negative?
Yeah.
It's very easy to find out who's negative. When you're recruiting for your team, you're actually selecting who you want around you. That's not your problem. Your problem is people you can't control. You know. So I'll give you an example. So when you interview people and you speak to them, a person who's negative will always tell you why something cannot happen.
But
Yeah, absolutely. There are some key words you pick up in their sentence that tells you that, okay, this, you know, even if I tell them, ideally as an entrepreneur, you want someone who believes in your purpose. If in the interview that person doesn't see eye to eye in your purpose from the beginning, you don't want them. Everyone else can be groomed. But if they're not giving you solutions, if they're not coming up with taking ownership of whatever position it is you're hiring them for, then you don't want them. I've not been good in recruiting. That I'm not the best recruiter.
So you have had your fair share of.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Then
Yeah.
in NMC, how you train people to deal this kind of
Yeah.
negativity, because it's your.
So what we do is, it's similar to what I just said. You'll always face positive and negative people. There are some things to remember as a leader. Firstly, if you have a team of 100 people or 10 people, out of that team, 100% is not going to be behind you as a leader. You know?
Exactly, I know.
You're going to have 70% that says, let's do it, come on, we're ready. But that 70%, you're very happy, it gives you confidence, and you know they'll execute properly, so they're very important. The remaining 30% are very important. The remaining 30% are your 20% who say, listen, let's do it this way, let's do it that way. You're the leader, I know you're the leader, but I really believe this is what we have to do. That's your 20%. Your 10% are the negative people. Now your 10%, why they're good, is because they'll show you what that roadblock is before you go on that journey. So if you're going on a particular way, that 10%, every time they tell you, but they're telling you what your possible roadblock is going to be. So you need your 20% to come up with a solution for that roadblock. And the 70% are behind you, you know, in your journey.
So it's just a mindset that you should have, that they're just there for a good thing.
Yeah.
If you think it's for a bad thing, then you will feel drained.
Yeah.
I'm
That-
still learning this thing, but
Yeah, that's how we train. But so am I. Right? So am I. Like my roadblock is actually relationships, and saying, wow, it's a shocker that this relationship I had with somebody could be like this. I've never had this person do that to me before. And you see a new side of a person after 36 years or after 20 years. That's my challenge, you know, it's just, or awakening.
And why do you think people flip like that?
I don't think people flip.
I mean, in terms of how they project themselves.
I don't think it's a flip. I think they're probably always like that.
Yeah, but
And-
you perceiving
Yeah.
has flipped.
Yeah, because I've moved from being a child to now an adult who has an opinion,
Your interactions are different,
right? Yeah, my interaction with them now is on a level of,
peer to peer.
yeah.
And how do you face these kind of challenges where people have been within an organization for a very long time and they're served loyally, but they're not serving, their role is not serving effectively?
They in NMC or in any of
In
our
general,
companies,
in any organization,
but
let's
I'll
say.
tell you, I don't know about other organizations.
I mean, in general,
right? But
how
I
do you
can
deal with
tell
that?
you in ours, they won't last.
Hmm.
So you don't really, I mean, a person who's in a position, who's been there for a long time, who's not doing their role effectively, is not going to last. You might have somebody who's doing their role effectively but cheating the organization, that would last maybe 10 years more than the person who's not effective. Right? Effectiveness will take you only a certain amount of years. Yeah. This is what I feel. They don't last. So.
Apart from relationships, what are your big challenges that you're facing?
Now? I don't think there's anything that's pressing me.
Nothing.
No.
Any new projects you're taking up?
Possibly.
Okay. We'll hear in the newspaper.
Yeah. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
What is newspaper?
What is newspaper? The news, yeah. Yes.
If I may ask, I mean, you were into this Abharana also, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember there was a dancing bird.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
I think
Abharan,
after
Abharan.
you went into that.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm known as like disaster management for my father. So, in 2004, I went back to NMC because we started getting involved with educating the public about health issues. So, we did a lot of preventive care. And so, I got into NMC for that. And then with Abharan, we had Abharan for 12 years before 2004. So I don't know what year that becomes. I'm told you I'm not good in finance, but 12 years before 2004. And when it came before us, the sales of Abharan dropped considerably.
What is Abharan?
Abharan is our gold stores.
Oh, okay.
We had one gold store in Abu Dhabi, one gold store in Dubai.
Okay.
So if I ever worked in Dubai, it was because of Abharan. And in Abharan, the profit of the company started decreasing over time to a level where they came to, the people who were overlooking the management of Abharan came and told Dr. Shetty, we need to close it. But not one staff was new. Everybody was there from the beginning of the opening of Abharan and he knew them. So then he came to me and he said, listen, he called me to his office and he said, listen, they're telling me they want to close this thing down, this place down, but I know the people, they're all hardworking people, see what went wrong, see if you can help it. If not, then we'll consider closing it down. So then I got involved with Abharan and we started looking at how we were positioning ourselves. He talked about Dancing Bird. I'm very proud of Dancing Bird also. I should mention that in my achievements when you asked me.
Don't know what is it.
Yeah. So, in 2004, when you bought gold from the gold stores or diamond, there was nothing within the price band of 500 to 1,200 which was affordable with diamonds. You either bought gold or you bought diamonds that were above the price of 2,500, 3,000, 4,000. They only had big necklaces. So what we did, because our target market in Abharan was definitely not the affluent people. So we had laborers. About 70-80% of our target market was the laborers that came in to buy gold, save money. It was the U Exchange. It was the U Exchange's offering for an alternative way of saving your money, and then we needed to increase our profitability. So you do that through diamonds. So I had to convert the people from Kerala and south of India and people from Punjab who were predominantly gold buyers to now considering diamond. And so Dancing Bird was our solution for converting them, because we needed to come out with diamond pieces that still satisfied their gold requirement but also allowed us to have a little bit of profitability. And nothing of this was available in the market at that time. So and the way we did it was actually my first experience of trying to buy a piece for my mom's birthday. So it all kind of merged together. I'm telling you different reasons as to why Dancing Bird started, but I created my own piece for my mother, and that piece, when it was ready, was kept in the store. And then I took it and I gave it to my mom, and then we started getting inquiries for that same design. So it was a heart with three chains coming out of it. It was just the easiest design you could think of, but it was a heart. And it was hearts there was no hearts with diamonds as a design at that time.
Oh.
I don't know how to explain to you how it was at that time. But so we started Dancing Bird, and it was a gift brand within this price range. And we built a whole concept of designing for Dancing Bird as well, because designers could make the most beautiful jewelry on your neck, but it was very expensive. What we wanted is, can you design something with constraints on my pocket? So I'm telling you, this is my budget. Can you give me the best design piece?
Why is it called Dancing Bird?
Because
it's a heart.
no, Dancing Bird is a peacock. So in the olden days, the karigars in India were not allowed to make peacocks for regular people except royalty. Royalty were the only people allowed to have a peacock in their design, in their jewelry. So we put the bird to the common man. That was the concept. Dancing bird is the concept of anybody can afford it, you know. So it's for everybody. And I'm very proud that Damas, at that time, the marketing manager, I can't remember his name, but I know how he looks. He came and told me, you know, you've killed it for us. You've branded a segment which we can't brand now because then we become Me Too. Oh,
Me
that
too.
That was like my biggest compliment. I'm like, thank you so much. And we were nothing compared to Damas. So we grew Aberrant to have 5 stores in 2011.
So from that point, from when you took it
From
over?
2004 to 2011, we then became 5 stores. And we were one of the top leading, at least top 5 in Dubai at that time. And then unfortunately, again, I got pregnant. Not unfortunate, but I mean, it sounds horrible to say that, but you know, it does a lot to you when you're in your 8th month of pregnancy and your hormones have caught up to you. I can't explain. I can't explain how it is. Any situation that comes in front that you have no control over, you almost burst up. You know, I used to be shouting at my colleagues because I'd get angry so quickly. Somebody mentioned about anger. You were sure? I mean, I have that problem. So I used to just flare up, and I said, I can't do this anymore.
Do you do meditation?
How?
Do you do meditation?
No, I'm sorry, I do not do meditation. I sleep during meditation. I can't do meditation. I can't. Not if somebody tells me when. I've done twice or thrice without anybody interfering in my meditation, and that was me, myself, and I, and that was beautiful. But that's only happened twice or thrice in my life. So what was I saying? This is a problem with the
No, you're
script.
saying
Aberrant.
Yeah.
When you were pregnant.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, thank you. And so, and the gold price at that time in 2011 was the highest volatility since 1982. And I know that because I was born in 1982. I'm thinking, great, I've just got involved with this, and now you're telling me that the market has gone to how it was before my time. So I have no idea what to expect, nor did my advisors around me. Gold price, if we did not close on gold price, we used to buy every week, and we'd close our price every week. The difference in pricing week to week went up so that we would gain and lose 1 million per week, $1 million. And that was a very big risk. So nobody wanted to take that risk. So here I am saying I'm in my last stage of pregnancy. I need to hand over to a new leader. The existing people who are under me said, we cannot do it without you. I'm not going to take responsibility for this.
So you were managing Zari and this together that time?
Yeah, I was 100% managing both. So I had a lady under me who was in business development, and the fixing of pricing also was done between me, my advisors, and then the business development, and then I'd fix the price, when to buy, when to sell. So I was running the show, you know. So now to come out at a time when it was highly volatile market, nobody wanted to get in, and we said, okay, I cannot continue like this. The market also was not hiring. It was a very delicate time for all gold industry players, and so we couldn't get somebody in that short period of time to take over, and we decided to sell the company. So we sold our assets, and you won't believe we made the highest sales and profits we've made in our whole life, in the whole history of Aberrant, just by that sale.
By selling the business?
By selling the business, and it was a very good decision, yeah. It was gold, so it's easy to liquidate gold. Yeah, and that time, at that price, even if you liquidate gold, considering at what price you bought it at, you're still making a profit. So that's the kind of prices we sold at.
At that moment, a lot of jewelers, I mean, whatever stock they had in stones, they liquidated those stones, and by just remaking their jewelry,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. It was a good time if you liquidated at the right time, yeah. People that held on, you know, had I been emotional about that business and held on, Aberrant would have been loss making. It would have been actually a very bad asset for us to have, yeah. So everything worked well. Sorry, Sammy?
Yes. question I want to say first is that the history of the Shetty family is very attached to the history of Abu Dhabi. They literally started together to grow. So imagine what Abu Dhabi today in this world, mashallah, the Shetty family is. And what I see that today, looking back, I lived in Abu Dhabi for 10 years, in Dubai the rest of my life. How could, with all these amazing ventures of businesses and responsibilities and challenges, how could the family have so much time to give, personal time to give for social service? As Toastmasters, for example, your father has been always supporting, putting a lot of effort, personal time into it. Yourself, very approachable. I mean, Mr. Bayar Shetty is someone, he's with the value to Abu Dhabi equal to one of the sheikhs, and he's yet approachable. Anyone can find him anywhere, anyone can talk to him about anything. When he's in a restaurant, anyone is welcome to come approach and talk to him, nobody guards nothing. When he's, mashallah, equal to in the power of Sheikh Mohammed. Seriously, as a presence to the family, to the society. He was nominated as one of the most effective people in Abu Dhabi as a person, as an economic and influential. But where are that magic of humbleness, approachability, as you grow up, seeing this power and seeing this, the power you had, still the humbleness that was illustrated. I would like really to see.
Can I add to that question?
To put effort into social service, or did it come natural?
Can I add to that question? I'm sure a lot is a result of how he was brought up.
Yeah.
So you can tell us a little bit about the grandparents and everything.
That's what it is. I mean, if you see, now the home which he grew up in is nice. It's a very nice home. So he went back to where he was born. We have a concept of a family home. So his mother, her siblings and their children and their families all are in the home together. It's called a family home. Guttu. Who said Guttu? Correct. Altaf, correct. Guttu. It's called Guttu. Did I explain it properly? I don't know. But so in this, if you see their old family home, you'll understand where they come from. It's so funny, you know. My father's elder brother, he talked to me once and he said, I don't know why your father keeps saying you come from a poor family. We were good. We used to travel by cart. I said, you used to travel by cart? What do you mean? He goes, we had a cart and a horse. I said, you mean with a carriage? He's like, no, we had a cart and a horse. I'm like, but uncle, you have to understand that's if you compare that to what other people have seen, that's poor. You know, but there in Mangalore, having a cart and a horse was a big, not Mangalore, Udupi. And that to Kapu, the village he comes from, was a big thing. At least, he said, we had places to sleep. I said, oh, where did you sleep? Because Papa would always say they sleep on the floor. He's like, yeah, we had a mat on the floor. I said, what do you mean you had and they had a rolled up mat. And that was a big thing. So, you know, even he gets very upset when my dad says how poor we were. And my father always tells us where we come from. My mother's family, her father was a forest ranger. They moved from place to place. She never met her cousins because they were 9. Her mom and father died at a young age. She was still studying in medical school. They had to struggle through medical school, struggle to feed 9 children after that. For my father, the case was he worked with the municipal council. You talked about social cause. Because he studied pharmacology and he used to go to the different states in India to sell, or different cities in India to sell, not just in his village. And then he saw what's happening over there, how the other cities are progressing, what they have that we don't. He used to say that, you know, the sewage in Kapu, they used to take it with a bucket, like a basket. It's just a woven basket. Take it like this, carry it and throw it. They didn't have piping systems. So when he went to another city and realized people don't have to do that, they don't have to deal with the waste, he came back and started an initiative through the municipal council to create the pipings for sewage, for a cleaner society. So there are some things which he did as just it's in his nature to just, he can't see something and then see what's happening somewhere else and let it go. He feels like he has to do something about it. And I think we've also got that in us because he constantly reminds us about where we came from. Today, if you see him, you said many different groups. We do have many different companies. I don't understand how he knows when, what, where, but he knows all the people in the different companies. And if you see the way he works till today, it's to survive. He doesn't think he's got money at all. And he'll tell you, I don't have money. Go do it yourself. Figure out how to get it done. It's just, he's always on survival mode because that's where he came from. He came from a place where he didn't have money and he had to do things, he had to find out a way. You know, so, and till today he says banks is his, I forgot the term he uses, but he loves banks because they're the people who supported him. So when he was in India, he was in huge debts. He had to find a way to work and repay those debts, which he got from his sister's marriage and also from the various initiatives that he rolled out in the municipal council, you know, for the piping and all of that. So to do that, he had to leave the country. And that's why he came to UAE, because UAE was a place where he had to work in order to pay back his loans that he got. So he's on a mindset of, I'm here for work and I'm here to pay back loans which I got because I was helping people, loans which I got to get my sister married, everything for you know, other people. It's not really for him. Today when people see the car he drives and you know, the clothes he wears, he only bought his car after 30 years of NMC. You know, it was very recent that he started enjoying his hardship. And
was there when he bought the Maybach from Mercedes?
Yeah, yeah. So you know when it happened.
It was really within the past 10 years.
Yeah, no, it was very recent.
Really recent.
Yeah, it was very recent. Yeah, yeah.
Can I share a story, which gives me goosebumps every time I say it? In 2012, I was living in Abu Dhabi with an elder man, 65 years old. He was with a friend, and that friend took him to NMC. At NMC, they realized that he has blockage in his heart and he needs surgery immediately, but they give him few injections, realize that the capacity of NMC cannot handle this case, they have to send him to Khalifa City.
Yeah.
Khalifa Medical City.
Yeah.
They sent him off there. Doctors realized that inside Khalifa City has a system where if someone comes in, cannot afford any surgery, immediately the charity will take over. So the cost was 32,000 dirham for the operation. They took care of it. They told his friend, just do the paperwork, you don't have to pay for it. So that friend who took him to NMC initially went back to NMC to pay for the service he received initially at NMC. He went to cashier, gave the documents, told him how much is the bill. He said 18,000 dirham. And then the cashier asked him, how is your friend? He said, unfortunately, he passed away. And that counter guy, we're not talking about a manager, told him, signed some documents and told him it's okay. You don't have to pay. He said, what? What do you mean? He said, you don't have to pay this 18,000. He told him, what do you mean? He said, we have a policy in NMC. If someone did not benefit from our service, he shouldn't pay for it. Because if that guy died, then he did not benefit from the service, you're not obliged to pay for it. Just get us the necessary paper and it's covered. And I saw Mr. Shetty the other day in Abu Dhabi and I told him this story and he said, what's amazing for you is a standard for us. Obviously, this is the least we should do to someone or to family who lost someone they love, is to waive the cost of his medical because he technically did not benefit from it.
Yeah, I hope it's carried out across other people. I'll make sure of it. Because you know what you're saying is amazing, but and I think that's a direct impact of what he has done. So NMC, you went to NMC Specialty Hospital Abu Dhabi. Yeah. NMC Specialty Hospital Abu Dhabi is where it all started. So the real culture of NMC is still in that hospital. You know, the medical director of that hospital until last year was my mom. So that's the kind of dynamic you have going on in that hospital. Yeah, and part of why I'm doing what I do is because I want that same culture to resonate everywhere. We can't have a interaction. You talked about franchising, and what's franchising if Samir Geepee is not part of it. You can't have an interaction or a person's connect if the stories don't flourish, and the stories only happen from the founders. And that's part of what I find is my responsibility in NMC. It's to give that same message across, so people imbibe the exact same culture you're talking of, and take ownership of the patient's experience, like you said.
And it's one of the struggles when it starts growing and becoming very big,
yeah,
right?
no, it's absolutely a struggle. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you have those deep rooted values.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've heard stories like this before?
This one is amazing. I've not heard this, no, but I've heard many. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, you are very famous in the Toastmaster community. Obviously, I'm hearing you from the day I have joined Toastmaster.
Hold on. She is the first YFP president.
Which you found out recently.
No, it was unfortunately not
Introduce Toastmaster, we have so many guests.
So I'm hearing your name from the day I have joined Toastmasters.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
It's on the agenda.
Which I never show up to.
And every person has got the haters and the likers, but so far I have not seen any person who don't like you. Everyone loves Seema Shetty. What do you think the reason is?
Yeah. I don't have a personal agenda. I think that's why.
You don't have a personal agenda?
Yeah.
Your voice is very peaceful.
I think, thank you. I think it's Samir's influence. If you talk to my team, they're not going to say I'm peaceful. But I don't have a personal agenda. I think that's what it is. I try myself, but I think it's my drawback. Because I try myself not to be what do you call it? I try not to be, what do you say, like almost something somebody should be scared of, because I'm Dr. Shetty's daughter, even at work. I don't want to be that person who they feel threatened by. I don't want to be a threatening name. I want people to know that I'm there to support them, right? But sometimes I feel, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but sometimes off late I've been feeling I should throw my weight around, because and that's where, if you throw your weight around, that's where you're gonna get haters.
Yes.
But until now I've been somebody who's just there to support, and that's my culture. So even with my team, they drive everything. I'm there to support, and I'll tell them, okay, if we're going in this direction and I feel this is not really where we should go, I'll just give it a little bit of a nudge, and it's still them who's doing everything. So and they have, he said something which I think is Dr. Shetty's leadership management, and it's mine. The cashier took the liberty to make a financial decision and say, it's not our policy, by the way. It's not our policy. So, but the cashier took that financial decision, and he was empowered enough to say, you don't have to pay, and then he'll go back to the management and say, this is what happened, and he knows he'll be supported. So that's the kind of leadership which I think both Dr. Shetty believes in. As long as it's increasing our goodwill, I think that's the leadership I believe in too.
Okay, just one more question. You are raising your hand from there, right? Yeah. Anyway, I've seen that whichever meeting that you go to, even here, that one, you will go and meet everyone in the meeting room before the meeting starts. I have seen even senior employees from your own companies. I mean, they are in big positions and they come there. They'll be sitting on the corner like I'm a big guy. Whereas you go and meet every single person. Why do you do that? Is that something that you do consciously, or it's a habit?
I think that's what I learned from Toastmasters, because that's something they teach you in Toastmasters, to make sure you meet everybody. And a part of breaking the ice is this. A developing relationship is this. So for me, it's a habit I got from Toastmasters.
where we come. I mean, people go and meet,
Yeah.
especially Mangalore, I mean, people go and meet everyone.
Yeah.
When they come into a room, go and meet everyone and say hello, hi, then settle down.
Especially in your position, it will be more intimidating for people to come to you than for you to go to them, right?
True.
So it just
Yeah.
allows
It
people
also
to just,
helps.
yeah.
But you know, also something is, I still haven't, I don't feel like I have to inflict authority. Really, I'm blessed because I'm his daughter. And so part of that is I don't have to inflict authority, right? People automatically trust me because of the brand value he's created. They trust him, so they trust me. So, and in the case of others, they have that challenge to develop trust, and maybe that's how they approach it. You know, I've seen, I just want to correct, because he said Dr. Shetty is in line with sheikhs, and he certainly won't like that statement. He's, till today in every speech he says he's indebted to the royal family in this country. And really, you cannot flourish in this country without their permission, you know. So if they know you're well intended for the country, only then the trust comes between them and the trust of the country comes on him. And I've seen sheikhs who are, you know, they're sheikhs. They come from the best family possible, and they walk right through. It's, I think, our responsibility to stand up. I always stand up for her. Every time I see the sheikhs, I stand up for them. Some people don't do it because they, you know, they're, what do you say, they don't ask for it. The sheikhs don't ask for it, so nobody stands up. As she's walking, actually we should. I'm not saying to do it for me. I'm not saying I'm sheikha at all. But I'm saying for sheikhs, people of royalty background, we should. Because, you know, they see us, every single individual who lives in UAE is their concern. And believe me, this is what they think. So while you're saying that I go around and talk to everybody, I'm just thinking that, but some people we really should stand up and talk to them for. And they should hold that authority with them, and I think that's the royal family. If anybody should hold authority within them, it should be the royal family.
I have a question. You were just saying just a while back that you feel sometimes you have to throw your weight around, and that means you want to impact certain people in a certain manner because they are not doing the things that you want them to do. Otherwise you wouldn't, right? In that scenario, aren't you surrounded by the wrong kind of people if you have to do it?
Yeah. It's not the wrong kind of people, it's just
the wrong kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Not the kind of.
Yeah.
So it's just changing mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what
Look, I don't know if what I'm saying is right or wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. Right? I don't know if I should be throwing my weight around to get things done.
You haven't thrown. I'm just saying. So it's not the people. It's just the mindset that you need to shift for them.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you shift?
How do you change somebody's mind?
Yeah. You only have an opportunity of, Mr. Right Pitch, you only have an opportunity of 2 minutes.
Okay.
Right? Because you don't have all the time to be with them, to change them. So you need something done now.
Yeah.
You know, you want a policy going across to all cashiers, all people at the ground level of the hospital saying, if somebody has passed away, we should not take anything from there. And what they'll come back to you and tell you is, but we've rendered a service. Our doctor's time has gone towards it. You know, every doctor is looking at their time. Every administrator is looking at the amount of man hours that's gone into that service. It's unfortunate in our industry that you might have people that survive, some people that don't. But in Dr. Shetty's case, if they don't survive, we shouldn't take it. But with everybody else, a doctor has studied 7, 8, 9, 10 years, 12 years. And that's a risk that comes with what they do. And it's still their time that they give. Some doctors who are in high risk are with 50%, right? That's why they take it, high risk. Some doctors don't take high risk, so they don't have 50% mortality. So, you know, those things, it's a cultural thing. So I think there perhaps we should throw the weight and say, no, we have to get it done, and I'm not going to listen to you.
Very recently I heard
Shetty saying that his capital was sweat.
Sweat, yeah.
Sweat was his capital. So as an entrepreneur, what is Seema Shetty's capital?
Mr.
You
Shetty.
tell me. I don't know. I've never thought about that. I've never thought about what my capital is. But you know, I've taken breaks off work because of my children, and I think people trust I'll help them.
You spoke about
I think.
I want to just answer her question.
I don't know what my capital
because-
is still.
Can I just answer her question? You just asked something, right? About when you have to deal with certain people and they're objecting to you.
Yeah.
I had this recent insight into objections. What is objection? It's just request for more information.
Yeah.
So it's just that they don't see the things the way you see it.
Yeah.
So the moment they start seeing the way you see it, it becomes our responsibility to show them.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe I need to ask the right questions when I hit that stage. Yeah.
You spoke about getting to know people whom you've known for a long time, change over a bit of time, flip, or the ones whom you thought they never changed, they were probably like that. The tricky challenge is to react the way you do. How do you react when you know people have changed? Especially in a corporate place where maybe they've been there with their family for a long time. You had a perception about them. And then you get a feeling that they've changed or they've flipped.
Yeah.
How do you manage to react? How do you react?
You're
You know-
remembering so many incidents, I guess.
You know, I don't go for any important meeting of Dr. Shetty's and my brothers because my reaction really needs to be controlled. It's one of my biggest problems. I can't have a calm demeanor the whole time. Somebody is outrageous with me, I say, "Wow, I didn't expect that from you." You know, so I do think that I don't react appropriately. Yeah. Everybody knows what I'm thinking. Everybody, and I'm sure Altaf anybody who knows me can validate that you know what I'm thinking. I'll say it. Yeah, I'm not diplomatic. Yeah. I'm probably diplomatic for someone else, but I'm not diplomatic for myself. So to help him in a situation, I'll probably be diplomatic with that person so that I'm helping him. But if somebody does that to me, I just bawl. I'll cry. I've cried many times. When the first GM of Royal Meridian, I don't want to stick a nationality to it, but when that man was in front of me and was insulted that I'm sitting in front of him and negotiating with him, I cried because I didn't expect somebody to be so rude. You know, he talked about me being young. He talked about me being a woman in front of him. I've never heard this kind of language before, and I cried. So I'm not very good at reacting.
Very beautiful interiors there.
Yeah, in Zari. Thank you, that was me. Thank you, that was me with a lot of help from other people though. Yeah.
Yes.
I have one question. You are being in gold business and money exchange.
If you will whisper to them.
So you always in the speculation business. Where,
Speculation.
wherever we think about where money is going up and down and we make money out of that. But when I look hospitality or healthcare sector as a retail, I will not use those words, but I will use as a human being. Like we always think about the hospitality or health sector as like we serve something. But being a human, whenever we work for an industry, I'm talking about just myself, we like to think on that way. So if I've been in money exchange or gold, I always think like speculate something and earn money out of that. So in hospital industry, whether that your previous skill set ever dominate your will to serve other people, and if so, how you tackle that?
So my exposure to gold and U exchange and the speculation side of it only came post 2004. It didn't come before that. So I've been involved in healthcare just by seeing my parents. Right, my father was running it. My mom was a doctor. We'd be hanging out in the reception because they're both working. So I've always seen healthcare and hospitality, I think, just because I liked it. I was involved with it before my work experience. It was only after I started working that I got involved with UA Exchange.
How you manage, because both his industries totally different.
I think his question is about the
you're saying
mindset.
how can you do
Juggle two
such
different
industries?
industries.
It's because I'll tell you how we got involved with it for you to understand why we did it. When Dr. Shetty started NMC, his partner at that time was the partner of UA Exchange. And UA Exchange
Sudhir
was...
Shetty?
No. Sudhir Shetty is the president.
Okay.
The local partner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mazri. So he was the owner of UA Exchange, and UA Exchange was under huge loss. So that was actually if UA Exchange had gone down under, that would have affected NMC, because the licenses, everything is connected based on who the promoters are. So it was his duty to get involved with the UA Exchange so that it doesn't get to the level of ruining the reputation for NMC. You see? So that's why we got involved with UA Exchange. If you ask, how can we change our mindset from industry to industry? We've done it. He's done it. So I think anybody can do it. If you understand and you respect the people who are working on the ground level to the top in a particular industry. So if you start off your life knowing that you don't know anything and you're willing to learn from anybody, till today Dr. Shetty will sit with a child and learn from the child. So he learns from really anybody. He never sits saying, I know. You know, I think that mindset would help you get involved with any industry. For me, that's what helped. I was in gold. I was in, I started my restaurant. Oh, is that what you meant? That I was in, okay, fine. I understand where you're coming from now. So I was in gold. I started my own restaurants. I was into gifting, into teaching, in learning and development. I think it's just, I trust other people. I trust the professionals who've studied it, and they're my advisors. I don't tell people I know anything. I'm ready to listen to feedback. So I just work off feedback. That's it. Yeah, does that help?
I have one. Okay, go ahead. Something that we touched upon. Do you want to speak about it? You had a dream that you wanted to be of the Middle East. You want to revive that?
Yeah, no, because I'm not so passionate about it.
Not anymore?
Yeah, no, it was just something I think Toastmasters influenced me a lot. So
you want to tell?
Yeah, so I was very involved with Toastmasters, which is, I recommend it for absolutely everybody. It teaches you public speaking, it teaches you leadership, it teaches you discipline and governance. And so while I was with Toastmasters, and I was very active at one point, at that time I wanted to have like a talk show and be like the Oprah Winfrey of the Middle East. Yeah. It's not, you know, my husband tells me to do it. It's crazy. It's such a good compliment for your husband to say do it. Either he's saying keep yourself busy talking to somebody else, or I don't know what that means. But no, it's not. I'm actually at a stage, if you ask me very honestly, where when I started Zari, I knew what I wanted to do. Now I'm in NMC trading, at the training and development. I know what I want to achieve, but there's still something else inside that's not being fulfilled. I have something that's not fulfilled right now, and I don't know what it is.
That's the Oprah Winfrey show.
But when you talk about it, and when I say it, it's not that. It's something else, and I don't know what is in store for me. Yeah, I feel like there's something else that I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing.
You'll read that too in the newspaper.
Yeah.
But life is preparing you for it.
Yeah.
Life is preparing you.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Can feel it and sense it. Yeah.
So, a very typical bunt girl, and
Yeah, what is that?
What
Good
is
question.
the Shetty clan is called Bunt Sangh.
Yeah.
And what is a typical bunt girl?
Okay, there you go. So, girls aren't so outgoing, and they kept a lot of, but your father gave you all the possible, open hand, or probably you took it without his permission. The
not a bund girl? Where are you from?
I think you can make out. I'm from Rajasthan.
You're from Rajasthan. What is a bund girl? I don't understand.
What is a typical bund
What
girl?
is a typical?
Well, how can you understand your brain?
Are they different?
I mean, the Shetty friends who I've had,
Yeah.
they're very, very different. You know, I mean, the Shetty boys are allowed to do everything under the sun. But the Shetty girls,
isn't it? Conservative.
So Shetty girls are more conservative.
Well, you're wrong.
In her case.
at least you know,
You made the wrong set of bund girls.
You know, I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
She started off
Well-
by talking about clubbing and everything.
No, but did I actually say clubbing?
No, you didn't.
This is the problem with conversation.
Night studies.
Yes. I did love those days.
He said overnight studies.
I'll tell you something about Shetties that is unique, though. There is something that I think everyone should know. So we're matrilineal, a matrilineal society. So you know what happens is I talked about my father's home in Kapu, where it's his mother's siblings, and their children that own the home. So the woman owns everything. She owns the property. Yeah. The woman owns everything. So if my brother, according to our culture, whatever he achieves, it comes to his sister. So you see, I'm supporting my brother. Do it. I'm going to have babies, you do this. So that's the matrilineal society. So women are highly empowered. I feel women are highly empowered. The practices may be different family to family, but it's interesting. You're saying a question which I think is also related to something which I feel really hurts me today. When I had my father's treated all four of us the same. He's given equal opportunity to all four of us. We've chosen our own path. And when I was pregnant with my daughter, soon after we had the Delhi gang rape that happened in 2012. At that time, I was, at home because I didn't work. I was looking after the baby the whole time, and I was in front of the news. And I got sick. I got sick in my stomach about how people could talk about women. I didn't like it at all. I couldn't believe that they're blaming her for going out at night, and then there's this whole information about how in the north, you're from Rajasthan, right? It's UP and Haryana. He doesn't want to hear this.
what the actual situation was.
Yeah, but it also opened up a lot of things about what happened in UP and Haryana that I didn't like, and that was the female baby infanticide and genocide that took place. And for us, like we said, everything goes to the girl. Girls are Lakshmis. When my child was born, they were like, Lakshmi's come into the home. Let's give her gold, and we were gifted gold. My son came and we weren't gifted gold. It's incredible. Nobody gave me gold. So luckily I had two girls, so I had enough gold stacked up. But yeah, and I got really sick of that. And one of the things I did while I had my journey of being a mother was I looked up institutions in India, NGOs, that were doing something about this, that were tackling the situation to eliminate female infanticide and genocide. There are a lot of people doing some things. It's going to take a generation before a change happens, but I wanted to be part of that movement. And so that was my first foray into getting back involved with CSR in India, and it's the woman and child issue. So if you ask me, I guess I told you just now, I don't know what presses me, at least in CSR and for social requirements. This issue of women's right we have to stop what's happening in UP and Haryana.
There's no doubt. I mean, women are a much better species than men because they can handle more. No, it's a fact.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Because,
Yeah.
I probably down the line.
Who's laughing?
Probably change the whole narrative
Yeah.
that women are the sorry ones. It is not so. But I wanted to understand because you said that you've done all the possible things on this earth.
No.
And been lucky, got out of it. So that's the thought what I want to understand from your father's side, that he gave you all the possibilities. You answered that, all four of you have been.
Yeah, but I think that's the answer to your question. If I was not born a Shetty girl, I probably wouldn't have been disturbed by this concept. Do you see what I mean? And honestly, I tell it to everybody. I'm so disturbed by it because we were never brought up with that mindset. I couldn't even understand it. It took me time to study it and research it to understand why people are doing that and thinking like that. And it's a culture thing. It's a culture thing. In the South, from our communities, we all come together to look after the girls. Everybody. We come together to look after the girls.
Incidentally, in Kerala also, one of the biggest communities in Kerala is the Nair community.
Yeah.
Even they are also a matrilineal system.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
The girl is more important.
Yeah. You know, there's a community in Kerala that's very interesting. I studied in anthropology in BU.
From Calicut?
I'm not sure where in Kerala, but when the girl's coming of age, she marries the village of men. And she can pick and choose which men she would like to be with. Did you hear about it? We studied it in Boston. I'm like, wow, that's taking it to another level. Isn't that like a dream? Here they have 4 wives. In Kerala, you can just...
No, Kerala is very strategically located, because the Arab traders used to come to Kerala. And they used to come and they used to spend time over there. They used to marry the local ladies over there. Then they used to go away. Used to give a lot of money to the women that they married.
That's long.
Yeah, but that culture is still there. I mean,
that's mostly in the West Coast.
No, in Calicut. In Calicut there is a belt, and in Mahi and Calicut and all there is. Yeah. I want to ask you, when you were working with Zari, I mean, when you were taking care of it, how much of your siblings supported you in that venture?
My older sister supported me in the very beginning when we were...
They would be involved in the operations and helping you with...
Not operations, just in the meetings and yeah, she used to come with me. So she was a big support. So when that general manager spoke to me ill and I cried, the only reason we got out of that room, because I would have been sitting on that chair crying the whole time, but the only reason we got out of that room is because she stood up and said, I will not allow you to talk to my sister like this. And she said, come on, Seema. Get up, let's go, out of the door. I'm like, okay. I walked out of the door. I spoke to DJ about this. Yeah.
Super.
You have also a venture, Biterite, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Biterite is actually something I'm very proud of.
It's still operating?
Oh, yes.
What is it about?
A little embarrassed you just said that.
Huh?
Food delivery.
Yeah, it's a food delivery. Yeah.
Embarrassed because?
Well, because she's saying it's still operating. Ideally, we should. We were.
There's too many right now.
There's a competitor that opened up soon after we did with a very similar name, Right Bite, and so when I went back to see how could that be possible, that's when I learned that there's something called when you register a name, I didn't register it federally, which means you register it across all the Emirates. I only registered in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, so that's how that happened. Yeah, no, it's true.
When I saw this bike for the first time, oh, this is Seema's.
Yeah.
No, this spelling is wrong.
And I let it go because I always, as I said, I give the other person the benefit of the doubt. And she was a very famous nutritionist. Her brother was my best customer in Zari, not best, but he came regularly to Zari. So I knew him very well, and I knew the family. So I kind of gave the benefit of doubt, thinking that it's impossible. But when I realized I should be worried about it is because I was involved with the ITP and Masala and all of them because of Zari. And the manager who was managing the account for me called me and said, listen, there's a lady who's opened up something very similar to Biterite. And he knew I started Biterite because I knew him from Zari days. And he said, and this lady is saying that they are the same company as NMC. And I was under NMC's wing at that time. And so and it was the PR agency of the company that had said it. So I don't know if the lady's saying it, but her PR agency certainly did say that it was the same company. Yeah, so, Right Bite. So That's why, and her entire business model is the same as what
Yes.
ours
Lebanese.
was. Yeah.
Lebanese
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I still give her the benefit of doubt because she's, you know, something else. When I did Biterite, I was alone, and I was the only player in the market at that time, and so all my money and effort went into educating the market. But as soon as the competition came, you had two people educating the market, and to be honest, I got enough people coming to me because she was busy educating the market. She was already a nutritionist who was talking in the newspaper. Only this time she's talking about something which I was talking about. So I had customers coming in. So I didn't say anything because, again, the confusion kind of helped. You know, I'm not a nutritionist, she is, and so I benefited a little bit too. Yeah. So and having more and more people enter the space, K-Cal coming into the market had helped us tremendously.
Yeah.
So yeah, because they put money in educating, and so I didn't have to spend that much anymore.
But you had
Yeah.
better veg options than she had.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, I catered to the Indian community, which she
Exactly,
didn't.
she didn't.
She ignored the Indian community completely. Yeah. Yeah. But now nobody can afford to ignore the community.
You have here in Dubai as well?
I did have it in Dubai. Yeah. I did have
I
it in
remember
Dubai.
under the lotus.
Oh really?
I used to
Yeah, I
work,
was under the
for
lotus.
almost like
My God, yeah.
And at that time I
Yeah.
was eating a little, before I turned vegetarian I was eating fish, so I remember ordering a lot of salmon.
Yeah, because salmon and dory are the two fish we promote.
Exactly.
Correct, yeah. Wow, really? Thank you.
Good. We're coming to the end of the session. We'll take one last question.
At the age of 22, you started your own restaurant. So at the time, they might be your competitor in the market, you know. So is it always require the idea of uniqueness in any business? It could be in the IT field, in the hotel industry, or in the any
Yeah.
industry. So the idea of uniqueness is always required, or if you don't have any competitor in the market, it becomes easy for you, to establish your business. But if the business is already saturated and you are entering into a business where already you are having a competitor, so how you establish you in that market?
I think I always did something with uniqueness though, because I'm trying to think, Zari, we didn't have competition, we were the only 5-star. I had to convince people instead of paying 30 dirhams for Indian food to pay 120 dirhams. And alcohol was not enough, to say come for wine. It's still 30 plus that wine, which was less than 60 dirhams. So we combined entertainment with kind of elaborating the Indian culture into something magical and beautiful. With Biterite, it was something that was new. And it wasn't until competition came and the government was in line and helping you promote that I actually started seeing revenue. When the government started inflicting policies towards healthy eating and creating programs speaking about health, that's when we benefited considerably. In Aberrant, there were already gold stores. So I'm putting myself in the position of what you're saying. And I came in at a time where they were already saturated. We still had to create something new to give people a reason why to come to us. So I don't think I'd ever do a business that would copy another to cannibalize on them. That's just not what that's a business without purpose for me. So for me, your purpose should be to make a difference. Yeah.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been fantastic.
Yes.
We have a small ritual over here which says it's a deck of cards. It says it takes just one insight to change your business forever. And there is a lot of quotes on this, each one. So you just pick one and you reflect on what it says. But while you pick one, we'll take from the audience what they are reflecting on.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So tell us, what are you taking away from today?
It's always the same.
It's normal.
It's normal. It's always relevant to the conversation when you pick it up. It's magical.
Not surprised.
But tell us. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yes,
So, So I think PT. And I just decided to change my hair color and just be more. It's okay, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very strong message came across. Being authentic, being myself, and this is how it is.
Yeah.
And then you're successful the way in your own stuff with your own skin, and it doesn't matter what people think, right? So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Thank
strong
you.
message. Very
Yes.
So what will you
Exactly.
So what will you apply, change or teach? Tell us.
Huh? Me?
No, generally. From the message, what is it that you will apply in your life, change or teach someone?
Be unique.
Be unique.
Be yourself. Because even if you're born with a silver spoon, you still did unique things.
It was diamond spoon.
And
The silver spoon kind of came later on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And stay humble.
Yeah.
And down to earth. Anyone?
Samir.
For me, take risk.
Yeah.
Take risk in life.
Wait for them.
Be
What I
transparent.
learned today is the art of owning everything and act like you own nothing. This is what I will teach and what I will apply and that's what I will live by. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, you.
Yes. Yes.
We want to know your opinion. act. ACT, all.
Well, what I really take from you is don't learn. You know, it takes a lot of things to unlearn things. You know, just go in. I was watching a video of a small, about 6 or 8 month-old baby who was being put into a swimming pool, and that's how babies learn how to
Yeah,
swim
true.
themselves. I just saw a day before yesterday, and I think that's what you really did. You were just thrown into the pool and you knew how to swim.
Yeah.
So that's what I take from it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It's very nice.
I had an insight, and I've thought about this for some time. A lot of the ventures that come under Dr. B.R. Shetty are named BR, like Biterite, or Bright Riders, or this hospital even, Bright something,
BR Life.
BR Life, yeah. And here I have buns and Rajasthanis.
We put a lot of thought into it.
Wait, really? That's your insight?
We are talking about differentiators. If you do what your neighbor does, you are me too. Or not like that, but one needs to be different and proud of what one is. And things happen. So you got to know what field you are in, find what your strength is, go out and play.
Correct, yeah.
What I learned is that, you have expanded your limits. That I can put my hands into this thing also. You have keep on experimenting yourself. So we should, being in this younger age, we should also keep on expanding our limits and just try different matches.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have the thick rubber bands?
No.
You don't have rubber bands?
Why?
No. Elastic? Do any of you have it? No.
Over here?
It's not here.
What do you mean?
You know the elastic, the rubber band? Elastic rubber band, the yellow one? No, the yellow one which you use on your paper. I'll tell all of you to do an exercise. This helped me. When I had my second child, I came back and I was stuck, I felt like I couldn't do anything else, and I felt like I wasn't capable. And somebody came into my life, I don't know where that person is anymore, but they taught me something which I think all of us should go back and do. So you get the thickest.
It might be in that bag, magic bag. It's a magic bag. Anything you want
you
is there.
the thickest possible rubber band, which is the most strongest. Correct, the ones that bind books, okay? And you and somebody else stand with each other. Get somebody to stand with you. Hold one side and let them hold the other, and you just keep walking back. And keep walking back. And when you think you should stop, you keep walking back again. And you'd be amazed at from when you first thought you should stop to where you then stopped, how much you grew. Some people can walk back, it breaks, they get hurt a little bit, and they're like, whatever, I got hurt a little bit, it's fine. But if you can expand yourself that much, that's our capacity as humans, I feel. And that really helped me, so I think you should do that. Yeah.
Super.
God, this is a very bad angle.
Yes, reflections.
I was taught how to speak Tulu by again.
Really?
Shetty girl.
Shetty girl.
A typical Shetty girl.
Are you sure it wasn't me?
So she's how many years ago was this?
Yeah,
Okay.
turn to share?
And she said, well, there's this gentleman there, a very well-known chartered accountant. And he said, you can go meet him, hold your hands and say, drink and get bought.
Oh, yo.
So I went there, I folded my hands and said,
So now I know. Now I know where this is coming from. Oh my.
Then you run away to Dubai.
Oh, this Sangeeta Shetty has scarred you for life.
First of all, thank you for really, I admire your story, and I'm so happy to listen to you. And most things I like it when you said about that German man, he doesn't like to listen. And I like to talk. I'm a very talkative person. And sometimes I always teach people how to communicate. But actually, I like your attitude, just to be yourself.
Yeah.
It's not your problem, it's his problem. Basically.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You are very good, and you gave us a lot of. I learned a lot actually, but this is the most important thing. Be yourself. Be yourself. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you see Dr. Shetty, he might be so busy that he might be here in this moment, and he might be running to the airport to move to another part of the world. But what I most admire about him is he has time for others.
Yeah.
He gives time for others, and that is the most the valuable aspect he could do for others.
Yeah.
And today we have his own daughter coming down on a Thursday evening and giving time for all of us to share her insights, share her learnings. I think she deserves a big round of applause.
Thank you. I enjoyed it so much. Actually, I should thank you for thinking I'm capable to sit here for all of you to learn from, right?
So much of learnings. Yes.
Again, say about your father, really, he is a very good man.
Thank you.
Really like about his thinking, how is the responsibility, how is his caring. We always teaching people how to love and care, but this is a very good example how care is about the others.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I was just to just sum it up, I just remembered what Warren Buffett's daughter was going through her pregnancy, and during pregnancy you have all these kind of wants, right? You want to do this and that. So she wanted new curtains in her house.
Oh.
So she went to her dad and said, I want to put new curtains. He said, okay, I don't have money. So he just reminded me that, you're always in survival mode. In the sense, you're always thinking, it's not our money, it's the community's money, and you're just putting it more into growing things for, and that is a great mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of people think I'll make a lot of money and then I'll retire. But I don't think your dad is in any mindset of retiring anytime soon, right? And
I hope he doesn't. I hope he never thinks of retiring.
And I hope people change this mindset around money. They think that, once we make a lot of money, we can retire.
Yeah.
So people think that I'll make $1 million or 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, then I want to retire. I want to retire at 40, 50.
Yeah.
That's because they're doing the things that they don't love to do. The moment they start thinking that they're doing something that they're truly passionate about, they wouldn't think about quitting it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Question
Yes, with the T, you will have the question.
Others making a small movie with some heroes attached to it. Are you playing a role in that? In
No.
terms of building that movie or making that movie?
No, it's all him. Yeah, he's coordinating directly with the producer, not the producer, the director, and also the PMO's office. They've also contacted him to say that they want to make sure the movie is
What is the movie
a
about?
right Mahabharata.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to. So
He's acting?
I'm not sure, but they're working on
He's producing?
the script or I don't even know what it's called. Yeah, they're working on that right now.
Producing it, he's producing
He's
it.
producing it, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You want the number?
For what?
The number, how much it's likely to cost?
Yeah.
1,000 crore Indian rupees.
Okay.
So, you know,
Small
I think
change.
what's important here to say is that, because I really don't like the fact that that happened, but I think what he's trying to say, and his message also at that time was, you make it 1,000 crores. I don't care. Make sure you do a good job.
Exactly.
That's his message.
Exactly. He didn't say
You know,
that
so,
I am willing to
yeah,
spend this much.
yeah,
He
and
said
I
the
think,
quality should be there.
and so the director's like, oh, 1,000 crore, and the media was there at that time, and but he will commit. If it costs that much, he will commit to make it happen as long as it's
By
good.
the way, I want to save money around the room. Today, a movie released for $41 million. It was made with $41 million with 2 big stars. And it's a boo-boo. It's called
Oh, really?
Thugs of Hindustan.
It's a flop?
Big budget, but
Amir Khan?
Amir Khan and Amitabh Bachchan.
Flop?
Money does not mean that it's going to be a great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that the story has to be told in the right fashion.
Yeah.
Mahabharata itself
Yeah.
is such a huge story.
Absolutely.
Each
And
word
so,
told in the right way.
and the PMO's office is getting involved for the story. So, you know, the Mahabharata, what it is it's a Hindu story, okay? But it's a Hindu mythology about a war that happened against two cousin families, and one family over the other. And in that story, there's a message about women with Draupadi, there's a message about, it's everything about relationships. So it's supposed to teach people about how relationships should be nurtured and cared for, and what could be the repercussions, extreme repercussions of death that happened with poor relationships. Yeah.
It's tea for you.
Thank you so much.
Do you know, how do you interpret the Mahabharata?
Don't ask me this question because I'm not religious.
I'm not either.
And I don't know anything about the Mahabharata. Everything I've learned ever since he said he's doing the Mahabharata.
Okay, I'll give you a perspective that I heard quite some time ago. When you listen to the story, see if it. So, how many of you know the story of Mahabharata? You know, right?
No.
All right.
You can give
So,
us
you can Google it.
snapshot.
All right. If you Google it, what will happen is you will get the story. But I'll tell you very briefly. It's a story of 5 Pandavas and 99 Kauravas, right? Correct? 100. So 5 brothers and 100 brothers, correct? They're the cousins.
Brothers and one sister.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then there is Krishna, who is the
Chariot rider.
chariot rider. So the interpretation that I had was, it is the 5 good qualities and the 100 bad qualities that are battling in your mind at all points of time. And if you look at all those 5 characters, they're all strong in one area.
That's true, yeah.
So it's about those 5 good qualities that are there in every human being that is always fighting 100 bad qualities that are there in every human being. And one woman marries all 5, which means one woman is marrying all the 5 qualities. It's the story of one human being actually, which is played out in a big scale. So if you look at every story that is there in Mahabharata, it is a story of every human being, individual man, every person.
The internal battles that they have.
Is the internal
inside.
battles.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Very,
it's
very
true.
deep, yeah.
How do you look at
Yeah.
this?
Huh?
No, it's a fact. I mean, it's totally the new way of looking at Mahabharata. I've never.
No, this is one of the interpretations.
You're at Awesome Focus, come on. You should get something new.
Mahabharata in its entirety cannot be made as a movie.
Yeah.
Because I have Mahabharata with me, which this is like around 500 pages into 10 volumes. So you can say it runs to 5,000 pages. So there is no way you can make a movie out of that.
But there's a way of filing it
Summaries
and
are-
projecting it in a way different way.
There's a
And there are many
French
books
guy.
done as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's
So-
a French guy called Peter Brooks who made Mahabharata, the
Yeah,
movie
the core.
in English. Fantastic. Like abridged version. You
I've seen
can't
that,
have
I've seen
everything.
Yeah.
But abridged version, he did a good job. Now we are looking forward to their production.
Me too.
So share with us what the card
What
says.
it says? In life and in business, reputation is the only check that can be encashed. Very nice. Let me see the other ones. I got the one that's. I got one that's appropriate. The same?
Nobody else gets to choose.
No. Oh, thank you, Samir. Thank you.
Take. Can I have one, Samir?
No, okay.
Oh, you're right. They're all the same.
Exactly.
They're all similar.
Oh,
They're
they
all
are?
very similar. Yeah. When a product or service is humanized, it becomes a brand.
Wow.
It's not the same. I'll show you
Okay.
another one. Strategy without leadership will have no momentum. Leadership without strategy will have no direction.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
A brand is a set of memories. Anyway.